you. Okay, so I will be doing a brief breakdown of all of the basics for the main tab, the photo mode, bone zone, and gobo. Origin point is something I am not going to get into today just because I have trouble getting it to work for me. Uh, Fishy has said the same thing, so we're just going to skip over that one. Um, but I will be briefly going over all the basics. In the main tab, we're going to start with all of our basic lighting. Um, the three kinds of lights you can do is a point, a spotlight, and a directional. A point is going to be our most basic light that is going to be kind of the same throughout. So when you see it, it's going to be good for lighting up a big spot most of the time. So you're going to see me come down here and just move it around so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to move it up. So you can see it's going to be really good for having big, even lighting across a big space. I'm going to delete this real quick and then show you that we have a spotlight. A spotlight is going to have more of a concentrated light, and it's going to be concentrated in the middle and fade out. So I'm going to move this one up as well so you can see how it's brightest in the middle is going to come out this way. And then the directional, I will admit, I do not use this one hardly at all. It's going to be like a sheet of light. You can see it on the ground here, a big square of light. This is good if you want a very specific angle, but it is, at least in my opinion, a little bit more fiddly. But very useful in specific cases. From here, you can see that we can pick the light that we want, create it. It will show up in your list here. So if I keep creating them, I'm now going to be able to pick between the different lights that I've made. And I can delete one of them, or I can delete all of them. Apparently that doesn't like to work anymore either. I can create one and then duplicate it. And then I can also rename them if I want to rename a light to help me remember what that light is.
Raker would like you to name it Danny.
Too late.
I tried.
There you go. It's Danny. But then it has to get deleted, so bye, Danny. Down here, I can create a light, and in the main parameters, I can change what kind of type of light it is here on the fly. Let's move it up so we can see a little bit better. I can change the power, which is going to make how bright or dark it is. I can change the temperature. Temperature is going to be how warm or cold a light is. So basically how yellow or blue a light is. Distance is how far. I hate the new fucking sliders so much. You can change how far of a distance it goes. It'll be easier if I move it over here. I'm gonna stick to camera. Whoop. So you can see it goes pretty far away. But I can move that distance down. Ooh. So you can see it's slowly not going as far away. So that's what distance is going to do. Ooh. I can change it so it's hitting both the characters and the world around it. Or I can make it so it's just hitting the characters. Or I can make it so it's not hitting them at all and only the stuff around them. I'm gonna move this over here. And then I can also change the scattering for it. Can sometimes be hard to see though, depending on the area. Okay, so you can see the scattering. It's going to hit the particle. It's basically making it look like it's hitting the particles around it and making it foggier. This is really good for lighting up areas and giving ambience. Ooh, gonna bring that down. And from here, these are going to be light specific um, parameters that we can control. The point, let me see if I can create a new point one. Oh, move that up again. So this is going to change how sharp the edges are or how much of a blur that you get around it. Let's switch this to, oh, that's why I don't love using that. Sometimes bugs out. At least for me. This game hates me. Move that up again. For this, if I move to spotlight, we can change the outer angle to show how big it is. And then we can also change the inner angle, which is going to change how concentrated it is at the center. So if we make it that center angle bigger, that means that it's going to spread the light over the entire circle. And then the directional, again, I have not played with this, but it's going to uh, change how the square is and where the lights fall off on the side. From there, you can also save and load and set the positions. I will admit I do not use these for the light because I have had issues getting them to work properly, at least on mine. I don't know if it worked properly for anyone else, but I have had issues with that. Stick camera, exactly what it says, it sticks it directly to the camera so you can use your camera controls to move it around. World relative is up, down, east, west. You can move the lighting that way. Character relative is going to move it relative to your characters, so you can get it closer and farther away. You can move it up and down in relation to them, and you can spin it around them this way. I don't know, is that new? I have not used the group before. That is new, and I have not noticed that one yet, because that I completely missed my eyeballs. And the rotation, you can of course rotate it. Ooh, I do like the new rotations. That does go a lot more smoothly. And then of course this changes how fast or slow they will move. Any question? I know I went over that a little bit quickly. Are there any questions on here for the first page before we move on? Oh, also I did forget. Mazel beam shows you where your light is pointing. That is very useful if you have a million lights and forget where you put them.
Just to kind of quickly jump in really, really fast, but if you're like
Mhm.
me and you struggle with the sliders, if you hold Alt on your keyboard when you're moving it, it does help slow it down a little bit so it doesn't just like
Mhm.
fly around.
Yeah, that is a good point. So that was one of my beefs with the distance is you really have to use Alt now if you want it to go slowly. Otherwise, it's it's almost immediate without it now. Um, but yeah, the Alt is really good, and then Shift is really good if you want to move it a bunch at one time. Because it's different. Is this not the latest version, or are you talking about the version you put out
No,
He
today?
released a new
there's
one
a
today.
yeah,
That
there's
was
a
like a couple of hours ago. Okay, no, that's fine.
1.7.9.8.
That's fine. I'll update after this. I was like, I'm not gonna get a new one. I don't want to. This is what's out. I don't want to mess everybody up. That's fine. Okay, but no other questions on that. Okay. then we will move on to photo mode. I forgot. I don't use the. I should have told y'all. Should have told y'all I don't ever use these. This is for camera control. For the yeah, I just realized I've never used these before. She forgot to ask about these before, so I only ever use this part.
Riker says its speed controls camera speed.
I believe
Our
these
plane controls render distance.
I believe these just, if you have photo mode open, these just do the job of the photo mode sliders. You just can use it in Lighty Lights.
Oh, like this one?
Yeah.
That's right. I always use Otis Cam. That's why I was like, why have I never used these? Because I use Otis Cam. That's on me. The depth of field, yeah, I think I have played around the depth of field before, but I think I have it turned off in my settings, so that might not work for me. Okay, yeah, so this is gonna load that. Thank you for letting me know about that, because yeah, I always forget I don't use the in-game camera, so I forget these exist, quite honestly. For the rest of it, though, I do use this quite a bit. You can pick the characters here and move them around. This is really good if you're trying to get really precise movements here. You can also rotate your characters. We can reset them. You can also scale characters. Give yourself a giant woman. And you can also move the, if you have a tail on a tiefling, you can move it, or oh, I didn't expect it to move without the jewelry. That's funny.
So the tail position actually moves the entire tail apart from the body. So if like you move it up, for example, you'll actually see the tail disconnect from the body. So it will not move with the jewelry, unfortunately.
Yeah, I haven't played around with this hardly at all, so I was like, oh, that's right. It just detaches and floats it away. This has been useful in the past if I've needed to get it to not cut into something. But I do not use this hardly at all anymore now that we have Bone Zone. Are there any questions on the movements or anything before we move on?
Maybe showing how couples poses can auto snap with Lighty Lights.
Oh yes, I had totally said that I was going to use the save position and almost forgot about that. Okay, so something that is useful is you can save where your characters are positioned. I have Ren saved. I'm going to save this here so you can see that she's here. And then if I wanted to move Astarion next to her, you see here, it might not do it properly because this isn't like a traditional pose. But let me see here. I can move them to, yeah, okay, that worked. So yeah, I can move them together by clicking on just her. You don't have to set both of them, just one of them. So very useful for if you're trying to get them to sit together. Just make sure you set one person and then go and click on that person's position when you have the other person selected in the dummy controls. Does that make sense to everybody, or do I have any other questions about that? Dummies pop up.
What? Sorry.
Oh, that's new.
And indicates which character is currently selected.
Export, import, save the position. So export is that exporting to like a file and we can just import it out like once we've loaded the game back up then? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's very useful for going back into scenes if you need to close out the game. Okay, so moving on to Bone Zone, this is the basic breakdown is that you can use the bones to move characters as you like. You can kind of see here I've already moved them quite a bit because most basic stuff does not fit my characters. So here you can choose which dummy. You can disable different physics. I have tail physics disabled so that I can move her tail while in photo mode. These you have to disable before you get into photo mode. That is the only way you're going to get them to work. I have not used hair or physical or tentacle physics yet, so I have not been able to try them. But I am assuming they work the same way. This I played around with earlier. I did not get this. I will admit I did not get this to work for me. I was able to get Daniela's daggers and get them to cover the scene tab. Sorry. What do you mean the scene tab? I will come back to that. So for attaches, for when you are out of photo mode, you would spawn Daniela's daggers. They will go into your inventory. When you put them into your hand, they will be invisible daggers. And then you would get the UUID of whatever you want and put it into your hand. This admittedly did not work for me. If somebody has gotten it to work.
Raker says that we'd need the latest version. It has keybinds so that we can choose what objects to attach to it.
Okay, well, and that'll be for next time. We'll figure out for the next session. From here, you can also start a pose from scratch if you don't want to edit a pose that's already made. Like here, I picked a pose that was already pre-made and just moved my characters to where I wanted them to fit properly. You have the option to get T-pose and then move something completely from scratch. But here I'm just going to show you can go in and edit from where you're at. We have bones for the body, the face, tail, wings, genitals, hair, and I don't know what the additionals are. These are also new. I have not played with them. Bodies, you're going to get things like the spine, shoulders, arms, and then the face. I will admit I do not play with the face a bit. It is a lot harder to get right than the body, but these are great for if someone's arms are a little bit the wrong way, you can just pose them where they need to be. Let me see here. I'm on Astarian. So I pulled up the right shoulder. You can see I had posed it so it fits properly. Right one. But this is where it was originally. I just hit reset on both of these, but I can go ahead and move these up to where they're moving again. And these are really easy to use. You would just go along the X, Y, Z axis and reset them if they end up not being correct. We also have the option to translate. Um, these I will admit you probably will not use as much, um, but you can basically move an entire socket forward, right, up, and down. These are good if you need to like slightly move something, but will not be used as much as like the rotations. You'll want to stick to rotations for that. And then you can also save uh, poses into different categories. I have I have a bunch of ones that I will have saved last minute if I'm trying to make something and might be having problems. I can save it and come back to it so that I haven't messed up my entire picture. Any questions on Bone Zone before we move on? Yes, there's also a reset on the bottom of each tree. So if you need to reset a whole part, which is very useful instead of having to reset the entire thing, you can reset all here too as well.
Also, I was just going to say, it's a good thing to note that the Bone Zone adjustments will save when you go in and out of photo mode.
Yes, they will save, so be prepared if you don't reset it to sometimes have an Eldritch Horror when you go back into photo mode.
Especially if you pull a different pose and then go into photo mode and have your bones.
Yeah, there have been times where I'll have done a bunch of adjustments, go out of photo mode, and then go in for a new pose, and I have an Eldritch Horror, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Let's just fix you up right there. Will you get it? Nope, that's the next session. That one's paid. Save. Same thing for the save position. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So if we don't have any more questions for that one, I think I go into everything. Gobo is going to be like a filter that you put in front of a light to get a figure out of it. I'm gonna put flowers. Basically just block some of the light so you can get a design. This is also useful for if you're trying to get shapes out of light with the scattering. If it decides it wants to work today. There we go. You can sometimes get the god rays like that. That's pretty useful. You can also hide it, but then it will look like that afterwards. And you can pick which lights that you want to attach these to. And then disable character light is useful for the kind of bright light that's over your characters all the time. Mine is always disabled. I think I still have the old files in that permanently disables it, but if you don't want to do that, you can do it through here. Disabled pre-place light if you I don't like updating stuff. If you have a level like an indoor level, like I think this has a bunch of outdoor lighting, but if you had say like an indoor light that's not connected to like one of these and you're not sure where it's coming from, you can disable it, save and reload, and that will disappear. That for me has been really useful for things like that weird church that you can get to an easy cheat that has lighting that I don't love. You can just turn all of that off. You can also disable the VFX shake and blur. I don't use this that much, but I also never use VFX.
Catbug, I do not believe there is a way to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the one thing is you cannot hide the marker without it going away. Saver, I admittedly do not use this, but if somebody else does, feel free to chime in.
It
And then
doesn't
these are just
work currently, I believe.
oh, okay.
That's my understanding.
Not supposed to use? Okay. And then just the basic settings of setting like the speed and gradients and stuff like that. I know I went over that pretty quickly. Do y'all have any other questions about any from any of the tabs? Danny password? Just the word Danny?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I think the creator of this might love Danny.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I do get that idea.
See, I got the opposite impression. I wasn't sure. I'm on the
You weren't
fence about
sure?
it. No,
It's very
no, I'm on
vague.
the fence. Yeah, it's not very obvious. Can't decide.
We might need a few more clues. You know, it may be on the next update.
I do not have the gizmo. I have not bothered with any of that stuff. Gizmo is part of the one of Mazel's things, right? Or was a part of the world builder.
I think there's an actual new mod for the gizmo. Oh, and it's part of Lady Light now.
Is that part of the one that you just added, or was it part of this one? You've been doing a lot of updates. It's hard to keep up, I won't lie. Was it 3? Wait, where is it then? I didn't see any gizmo. I could also be blind. I miss shit all the time.
Oh, so you have to have Gizmolib installed and then it will show up in Lighty Lights?
Oh, well.
Okay.
Then no, I won't. I don't have to worry about that then. That's not on me. I'm not going to worry about it. If they're not already here. The easy manipulator is the one that Mazel made, right?
So the required mods for which required mods are you talking about?
I don't think animation framework is required, is it?
MCM is the only required mod. And the Lighty Lights, as far as the additional files, Lighty Lights probes and triggers do need to be downloaded and installed in your data folders.
Animation's framework is for QSAT, right?
I can...
That's what I thought. I'm just taking a look at the requirements on Nexus. And I'll put a screenshot of it in the chat.
Yeah, we can answer a few more in depth on how to like install Lighty Lights at the end, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can do that. I will go ahead and end my screen share here and let Fishy take over.
Hello. So I will share my screen. So for the ANL tab, probably I never really use this get current atmosphere and lighting, so I don't use that button and I wouldn't be able to answer questions. But to kind of give you a quick overview of the ANL tab, it has to be done outside of photo mode. If you try and change anything inside of photo mode, nothing will happen. So if I go into photo mode and I try and change any of these, as you can see, nothing changes. And also, if anyone has questions, I can't see the chat right now, so please
I'll shut them out.
Either Dan or perfect, thank you. So yeah, if you're in photo mode, you cannot change these. You have to get out of photo mode to do that. And as you can see, it changed because I changed it. So you can search for them, but honestly, I just find it's easier to just click on these little arrow buttons here, and you can see that it changes depending on what you select. Lighting, and Raker, please feel free to roast me for this, but one of them changes the world lighting and one of them changes the candle lighting, so like lights. So you can see I have 4 candles dropped down there. Well, one of them changes that. I can never remember which one does what. So I usually just click through until I find some that I like. I did favorite some, which again I will put in the chat for you. But there's a wide variety of them. So there's some that are really good for daytime shots. There's some that are really good for nighttime shots. Like this character is a Twilight cleric, so she likes the moon in her photos. So I often use either Night with Drow, or I will use what's the other one? The Emperor one is another one that I will use because you have the moon there. But there's a variety. So if you want like the Jungle of Chult, you can use that one as well. So I'm just going to switch to this one. Atmosphere, I think, is the one that changed. No, I did get it wrong. Okay, so atmosphere changes the sky, or the skylight, I guess. And again, Raycor, please correct me if I am mistaken. But each one of these, like a lot of these will have a match in here. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to match them. So sometimes you can mix and match. So for example, if I want a dark scene, I often will do the ruins and either ball or ruins. But usually I'll go with ball because that one's pretty dark. And apparently I did. Oh yes, I did save it there. So this is really good if you want like a really dark scene. There's also some really fun atmosphere ones. So for example, Creative Sky will turn it a different color. This one turns it purple. It's one of my favorites to use for purple shots. But yeah, so let's go with, some of them will show up together a little bit better than others. So this one has a little bit of fog, but oops. Sorry, I'm just getting my cameras all sorted so I can see the sky because that's going to be important in a second. So if we go with this one, and let's say we go ball, can you still see it? No. I'll go with the Emperor. We'll just stick with Emperor. So as you can see, my character's over here. The moon is over there. It's not really ideal for the kind of shot that I want to do. So you can change your parameters by clicking on this preset manager here. And I always just use the presets. You can use stuff from the toolkit. I'm not very good with them, and I'm hitting wrong buttons. I'm on the spot.
You're okay.
If you click on the lighting drop down here, you can see all these different lighting things. I want to move the moon, and I want to get rid of these clouds so you can actually see the moon when I move it. So I'm always bad at remembering where things are, but you can turn things on and off. So if, like for example, if you want fog, don't click the wrong buttons, but you can turn on fog. You can move sliders around, you can change the color, you can enable or disable it. It will automatically update. I do want lots of stars, so I'm going to change the amount to increase it and make them brighter. That's probably too bright, so we can lower that down. So you can adjust things to your liking. And again, if the sliders are too fast, you can still use the Alt or Alt Shift. So again, we want to move the moon. I usually like to go find the moon with my camera. I use Otis as well. You don't have to use Otis, but if you want to move anything in the sky or change anything in the lighting, again, it has to be done outside of photo mode. So you cannot change this once you're inside photo mode.
I don't know why I never thought to use Otis to check the sky.
Can you
I
use
always
Lighty
just
Lights while Otis is open? I've never been able to.
so you can enable it, like you can enable it and check the sky and then disable it and go back to what you were doing. I always just go into photo mode. That's like 10 times harder than just enabling Otis.
Huh.
Sorry, I just realized how dumb I am. Continue.
We're all learning stuff. Sorry, Fishy, continue. Fishy did doid. A toe. Okay. Well, while Fishy is dead,
no.
maybe I'll go over really quick how to install the basics of Lighty Lights. Give me 2 seconds and I will just share my own screen here. Let me see. Can I not share my screen? Exit full screen. Share my screen. Entire screen, and y'all are getting screen 1, so you're gonna get to see a double, but the main reason for this is I want to be able to see chat still. So basically, when you are getting your Lighty Lights download, your basics, you're going to, it says here in the description, optional, but Giga recommended. I don't have, but Giga recommended. Do the thing. Optional for in-game documentation. No clue what that is. Again, I don't have it. Raker is going to yell at me for all of this. MCM, this is not optional. You do have to have MCM for Lighty Lights to work. And native camera tweaks, optional, but please do it. It's really just going to be so insanely wonderful for all of your picture taking needs. As far as the download files, you're going to download both the Lighty Light triggers and probes and the Lighty Lights pack file itself. The pack file is going to go into your mod manager, just the same as any other pack file. The Lighty Lights triggers and light level probes. This is where we're going to have some fun. These have to be put in a very specific folder in your Baldur's Gate 3 data folder. Okay? So in your data folder, you're typically, I have a bunch of things because I create mods, I do things. So I have a lot of extra folders here. Ignore them. The main things that you're going to have in your folders is a localization file and all of these lovely little pack files that BG3 gives you. Sometimes if you've added some mods, some extra things, you're going to have a generated folder here as well. For the Lighty Lights probes and triggers, you're going to need to create a folder called mods. If this is not here already, you're just going to create it manually. Make sure it is named this exactly. You are going to then extract everything from that Lighty Lights probes and triggers directly into here. The 3 files that you're going to be putting in here are Gustav Dev, Gustav, and Lighter Light, whatever this freaking thing is. Why did you name it so long? Why did you name it so long? Anyway. But these are the 3 folders that you're going to need to make sure are in your mods folder. Once these are in here, just come in, double check, make sure that you have merged LSF, merged LSF. Every single one of these should have this, but as long as you double check 1 or 2 of them, make sure that they're in here, you're going to be fine. One thing that I am going to note is if you play multiplayer, You are not going to be able to join a multiplayer who does not have these installed. You are going to crash on load, or they will crash on load, whichever one of you is hosting. And if you are starting a new game, you are going to get through the character creation screen and you are going to sit there. Okay? This is one of the most common troubleshooting things that I work with people who are trying to do a multiplayer. This is called a data file mismatch. What you're going to want to do is just drag this entire mods folder out of here and start your game. Okay? And then you can drag it back in when you're done and you're going back into your solo runs, etc. Another thing that you can do if you're going to be playing with them frequently and you don't want to continue to do that, force them to install Lighty Lights. They're going to enjoy it. Make them have fun. Okay? And then you just send them the versions of these as well. Yes, Gustav. Gustav Dev, and Lighty Lights, Light Probes, and Renders. These all three are going to need to be installed in your Baldur's Gate 3 data mods. The thing that you're going to put in that mods folder is this, the LTALP download. You're going to extract the file contents. So if you preview file contents, you're going to see we have mods, Gustav, levels, etc. All of these, you don't need to put them in one at a time, just drag and drop the 3 files. Yeah. If you don't do this, Car, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to use the basics of Lighty Lights. You're going to be able to use things like Bone Zone. You're going to be able to use the photo mode tab, but you are not going to be able to use ANL. You do have to have the level triggers and light probes to be able to use the ANL, which allows you to manipulate the lighting, the moon, the sun, the stars, the clouds, all of the fun stuff that can really make your background lighting pop. Overwatch League is so dead. Anyway, these are really the only 2 things that you need to do to make Lighty Lights work in its entirety. The Mazel docs, and frick, I can't even remember the other thing. That that are on there. We don't really need those. But you can use them, and someday I will get somebody in here who knows exactly what those do and how those work, and we'll go over those as well for a more Yes, I have many things. I have many things in my taskbar. I'm sorry. I work esports, so. Hey, Fishy's back. Invite to speak. Hey, Fishy, while you were gone, we went over how to install.
Oh, nice. I have no idea how long I was gone for, so...
You were kind of going over presets at the time.
Okay. Oh, we're gonna try this again.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop my. I'm gonna go ahead and stop my stream, and you can take over.
I was about to move the moon. Okay. Because I literally just finished the entire spiel. So that's cool. That's cool. All right.
We're back.
Cool.
We're
back. Okay. So, right. So presets. We were at presets. I was going to move the moon like Gru from Minions. Right. So we had Emperor, and I want to do Emperor. It'll be nice and purple because my settings were for the moon. As you can see, we had fun. All right, there we go. We are back.
Okay.
Oh. All right. If I disconnect again, someone tag me or at me or something.
Will do.
So that I know because I'll hear the notification. Okay. Right. So, let's say we want to move the moon. You can click on these 2 tabs down here. There's lighting and atmosphere. So lighting, If I want to get rid of the clouds, I can go to volumetric cloud settings and just uncheck, and that will get rid of all our clouds. So you can see there's no more clouds now, which works. Then if I want to move the moon, I can click on the moon tab. You do want to make sure that enabled and cast light are enabled, or else it's not going to cast any light and it's just going to be there. One thing I find helpful when I want to move like the sun or the moon is just move pitch or yaw just a tiny, tiny little bit. Pitch moves the moon or sun up and down, and yaw moves it left and right. And one thing I like to use is I use Otis, so I will find the moon in the sky before I start moving anything, and that way I can see what direction. So if I move pitch down this way slightly, I can see that the moon is going up. I want it to go down, so I know to move my slider in the other direction. So if I move it like this, you can see that it moves where I want it to, in the direction that I want. Same thing with yaw. If I want to move to the left, I slide it over to see what direction is going to the right now, so I want to go the other way, and we just start turning it until it goes where I want it to. And I'm just going to move it just a smidge more over so you can actually see the moon, because we stole the moon. All right, we have stolen the moon. And again, those settings all have to be set outside of photo mode. You cannot move the moon or sun or clouds or stars or anything else in this tab. Like literally anything in ANL must be done outside of photo mode or it will not work. Distance is how close it is to your character. So if you move it way down, you can see it kind of goes invisible because it's just too big. So you can see it's getting really close. It's pretty much right behind this character. So if I move it here, it's still bigger, but it's not right behind me. If I wanted it to go bigger, I can adjust the radius, and that way it'll make it bigger where it's at, not where it's moving closer to my character. So Earth shine affects how bright it is. So the higher it is, the more bright it will be. It'll turn into a disco ball. And then, as you saw when I came back, I had a purple moon. You can do that by changing the color. So if you click on color, you can actually change the color, and you can see this one's blue. You can change it red, and it will actually light up the scene the same color as the moon. So I had purple because that's my favorite color.
Would very much like you to know that the sun position also affects the moon phase. He has said it like 5 times now.
Oh, I did not know that. Is that okay? That's cool. That's good to know. I did not know that, and that's really cool. So, I will have to look into that. I have learned me a thing. I even took notes. Okay. All right. So sun position will change the phase of the moon. Right now we have a nice, I don't even know what the right word, I think it's a full moon. We're going to call it a full moon. I don't know the phases of the moon. Moon glare will affect how bright it is as well. So you can see it's getting dimmer. That one's practically invisible. All the way up is right there. And if I want to bring the earth shine back up, you can see it's bright again. Tiers rotate. So if you see those purple stars in the sky, and I'm just going to change it so they're a little more clearly there. You can see there's purple stars. Those are what the Lady Lights refers to as tiers. So you can actually move them around. So you can see I've moved them sideways, but if I wanted it to go the other way, I can move it around until they're where I want them to be. And I can also make them really small so you don't see them at all. I can make them really big so they're very big. So you can change your sizes like that. I'm not going to show the different phases of the moon because I would have to find that, and
moon glare and earth shine are also affected by the sun.
Oh, that would make sense. That would make sense. So that's probably why. Yeah. So, I wonder if. Interesting. Okay. I don't actually know. Light distance. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Scoot everything up. I did something.
Maybe it's the yaw that's gonna affect the.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I made it darker. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna stop.
I feel
I'm
like
gonna
we're
stop
all gonna
touching that.
go into lighty lights and just start
I know.
winging
I am.
sliders.
After we're done here. After we're done here.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's how I learned this tab was just by moving sliders around
Mm-hmm.
and seeing what happens. So if you wanted clouds back, I had it checked off because I didn't want them. But if I wanted them back, I can click on volumetric cloud settings and just hit check for enabled. I can change the intensity of them, so I can make them really bright. I can make them practically non-existent. So you can always move those sliders around. Again, you can change the colors of them. So I can change the base color if I want it really blue. And I'm sure I'm getting roasted, but that's okay.
No, Danny
You
already
can,
prohibited it.
okay, nice. I'm doing my best. You can change the density. It's probably not going to change much because I changed my colors really weird. But if I were to change them back to not weird colors, you can see they're getting a little thicker. You can change where they start and end, the wind, all that stuff. So there's a ton of stuff you can change in these settings. Like there's a lot of stuff you can change. Basically anything in the sky you can change. Um, if you decide you don't like this, so you don't want a purple moon for some reason, I don't know why you wouldn't. Purple moons are really cool. Um, you can click reset, and everything will be reset to where it was at default. Um, so as I said, I do have some that I really like, and if I decided, I really like the lighting of the original place, I think I can use that, but I don't actually know because again, I don't use it. You can just click reset, and it will automatically reset your lighting to what that area's lighting should be. So
Raker is saying
the
we
other
can.
thing.
Sorry.
Oh,
I was gonna say Raker is saying we can fix square shadows on characters that appear sometimes by decreasing the shadow far plane. Is that here in ANL? And is that in the lighting section?
yes, that is in. I just have to find it because I did see it. I think it's under sun. Yes, near plane.
Okay.
If I make that bigger, I don't know if I have any squares
Shadow
yet. I
far
should
plane.
probably do. Shadow far plane.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna move that back down. Doot, doot, doot. And then shadow far plane. So sometimes how when you're taking a picture and you'll see like and Raker or Danny, please correct me if I'm mistaken here, but sometimes there'll be those lines on your character where there's like weird shadowing. So I guess you can change the far plane to get rid of that. But again, I don't think I have any right now. I definitely have had them in the past, but I don't see any immediately in front of me.
I think I have an example I'll put into chat for
Okay.
it.
Yeah. So you can adjust the shadow far plane to kind of clear those little blocky lines, because there's nothing worse than taking a photo and seeing them and going, "Oh my god." But for these, if there's some that you like I recommend there's a ton of them here, so you can kind of click around and see all the different ones. So this one is Gale Heaven, the sun left, so you can kind of click around and see all these different types. This one's the Asterian Hunger Dream for our Asterian girlies like me. But if you find one that you like and you want to be saved for easy reference so you don't have to go find it in this long list again, you can actually just make sure it's selected here and then click add, and that will add it to your favorites down here. So you can see I have this here now, and from here, I can just click on these and they will automatically change to that setting for me. Same thing with these. So if I go to Creative Sky A, this one's kind of more of a spooky color. But if I like it, I could just click add and that will save it into my favorites. So I can have my purple moon or my spooky moon. So yeah, sometimes some of them will look better than others together, but you can always mix and match. You don't have to match them exactly. So like if you're using the Emperor up here, you don't have to use the Emperor down here as well. You can change it to whichever one fits what you're looking for. So if I want that purple moon, I can set it to Creative Sky B. And yeah, that's basically this tab in a nutshell. There are a ton of different parameters that you can play around with. I do know that Raker sent how to get fog a while ago. I don't have it immediately off the top of my head, but there is a way to get it at like ankle length, but it involves increasing, I think, the density and then the height. I have it written down and I can put it in the chat. I just have to find it. So I do have it. I will find it for you guys and I will share it. But yeah, oops, did not mean to hit that, but that's okay. But there's a ton of different options. If you want to, actually, one thing I mentioned before I went down is you can actually change the intensity of the stars as well. So that is under Skylight. You can see it says proc star intensity, amount, saturation, and shimmer. So I can make them really, really intense, or I can make them very, very, very faint. You can change the amount of them, so you can have a ton of stars. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. You can have none, you can have a ton. You can change the saturation on them. So if you want them multicolored, so I have a rainbow now of stars, which is kind of cool, and I didn't actually know that you could do that. But kind of cool. You can change your saturation.
Raker is saying for the fog that he's not exactly certain, but density 0 to 0, height 1 to 0, and then you control density 1 and height 0. Let's watch this totally not work.
Oh yeah, totally. 0, and we said density 0 to 0, was it?
Density 0 to 0, height 1 to 0, and then you control via density 1 and height 0. What the?
Oh, that would be the fog.
That was a little bit of fog.
Just a little.
Just a smidge.
So if we scoot this,
and it's,
we move this up, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can kind of see it's putting fog.
And then he said it's
it has
very
some fog
sensitive, so manually typing like a 0.0001 values type.
Yeah, it's a very, and if you, so you can see I was trying to move it with sliders. That's not going so well. If you hold control on your keyboard and you click on it, that will bring this up. I think you can, oh wait, no, you can't double click. So, oops, right. I always forget that 0 is my pause button. 1 second here. I turned off my thing. There we go. 007. Let's try. What have I done? What have I done? We're lost.
Consumed by the fog.
You're
never to be seen again.
I don't even know if I can. Alright, we're gonna try this again. I'm not very good with numbers, as you can tell. I kind of just wing it half the time.
Height 1 to 0.
Height 1 to 0. There we go. And then 0.007. There we go. Okay. So you can adjust it when it's not being persnickety.
Okay.
And you can see it's causing your skyline to become foggy. If I were closer to the edge, like right now, I'm on a little bit of a hill, which is why the fog doesn't quite reach me. But if I was closer to the ground level, you would see that there's kind of fog around her ankles. I don't know if I can move. I'd have to check. Oh, there we go. We're going to run backwards, as one does. So if I move it here,
hey, there we go.
I'm now in the water, but you can't actually see my feet in the water, or that I am in the water because it looks like I am in the fog. All right, back to the purple lights. Okay. All right, figured out fog. But yes, for stars, you can move things around up there. So that changes that. Sun apparently will change the phase of the moon as well. I'm going to guess temperature makes it hotter or colder. Again, I don't usually use that, so I don't really know. Try to see what else
Wait, is that a way of getting sweat if we make it hotter?
I don't think so. Don't think so.
Temperature should be how orange or blue the lighting is.
Ah, okay. Well, it's very purple. Probably because I still have it as creative sky, but that's okay. So. But yeah, moving these around honestly is the best way to learn for what all you can change and what happens when you change things. So I don't actually know what SSAO stands for, but it's probably ambient occlusion. Yeah, that's basically the ANL tab. There is some stuff here, like you can change wind direction. As you can see, I maxed everything out because I thought I was connected and I was not connected. But you can change. You can't see it because I have a bunch of fog right now. I'm nailing this.
Does that change? Oh, it changes
fog.
the like surf or the ocean.
Yep. So you can see now that we can see the waves. If I scroll down here, you can see that it's going fairly fast because of wind direction or wind speed. But if I lower that, you can see that it's going much slower. Whereas if I go up, it moves faster. You can change the wind direction. It's not as noticeable, I suspect, here because it's the ocean, but you can kind of see how the waves kind of keep pushing backwards. And then we slow it down. Again, you can kind of see over in here where the wave was pushing backwards. I don't have a great outfit to show wind cloth physics because there's not much cloth physics on this. But you could adjust that here, I think. There is a way to include VFX. You could add them here. You would have to get the name from the toolkit. It's honestly easier just to use Realm Builder, which I suspect will be another tutorial at some point.
Wait.
But
wait, sorry. Can you add VFX via Realm Builder?
I think so.
Oh, I still have not bothered to download it.
Any VFX?
I don't want to learn another tool.
Yeah. No, I don't use it very often. So I do know it's possible. I don't know how to do it myself because I am old school, and if I want an effect, I just cast the spell.
Yeah.
So that's all I do. Because that's just easier for me. Which, by the way, if you ever want a fun effect or effects using spells, you can just click on the spell, and it will do stuff.
No, just start it, go into.
And then, yeah, you can just go straight into photo mode and be a little beacon of purple light. Move yourself around, and yeah. So that's your fun little fact about spells and photo mode. Oh, my game crashed. So,
Well,
all right. Is there a way to remove eye glow?
Oh, are you talking
I
about
think so.
the
Yeah. So
VFX?
yeah, I think there is. I just don't usually use it because I just don't use those spells. I find other spells that do a similar effect. I know there's a mod. I don't know how much it affects things, because as I said, it's not something I use.
Bone Zone in
But
Dummy
yeah,
FX.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
For
you can do that.
I don't know if Move Anything works for VFX. I think it does, maybe? Question mark. Again, it's not something I use very often because I am not good friends with the toolkit, and if I have to do research to take a picture, it's like, no, that's too much effort for me, so I don't always do that. It's something that I know how to do it, but it's not something I use regularly. So
we can see about getting an event together for a more in-depth VFX
yeah,
usage.
yeah, use spells, they'll get you good effects.
Okay,
but now that my game has crashed, does anyone have any questions about the ANL tab?
No. Any questions about the event overall? Anything that wasn't answered? Any questions about just basic intro?
Oh.
How is baby formed? Well, you see, bees and rabbits or something. I don't know.
You missed the message that Fishy got?
Huh?
I don't know. Did you get a message?
I got the message that I got. What?
Can you make the moon look like cheese? I am assuming that because that you can move the moon around and make it as big as you want and whatever color you want, you could probably make the moon look pretty close to cheese. I would
imagine so. I have enjoyed several of Raycor's message of the day on Lady Lights. They bring me much joy to read. I did occasionally actually find one about me, which made me smile and was like, "Aw." So, but yes, you probably could turn it into an evil moon of sorts, because as I said, you can kind of color it red and look really cool. I'm loading back in.
Are these new, for the general bones, are those new bones in Bone Zone, Jeannie? I don't know if I have that version yet. Not general bones. Oh, genital bones.
Oh.
Yeah, those are genitals.
Have resulted in an inert and no bone. Dang.
Oh, I didn't look at those, sorry.
Yeah,
I am innocent fishy.
I do believe that once Bone Zone is fully fleshed out and fully released, we will get an event in here specifically for Bone Zone and how each of the how everything works and moves. Yes, fleshed out, Jeannie, fleshed out.
Okay, wait. Since we have Riker here, so you said that I can move the VFX with Bone Zone. Is there anything that we need to do to be able to get that? Because I've been playing around with it, and I'm not seeing anything. Haven't been seeing anything move. I have no VFX moving on anything. Owners.
IFX.
Yay. No, I'm not getting
that.
To be fair, I haven't been able to get anything with the eyes or the head
the
working on my
hand.
version of Lighty Lights. Try hands.
Is it? I have head, eye, mouth, chest, body. Is it the cast? Cast effects? Oh, dummy limb, maybe?
There we go. Hand. Left hand.
Wait, that it's in her right hand. Hold on. No. Wait. Doesn't look
The
like.
effects.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's dummy right hand effects. That should be affecting that
Translate.
one.
He's saying translate.
Wait. Oh, Jesus, there it goes. Okay, well, that one worked.
Okay.
Wait. Okay, so that one worked. Then let's figure out the eyes. Because it should be.
And then try eye
eye.
translate.
No, that one doesn't want to do anything. I tried the translate on here earlier.
Raker says
That
bad.
well,
That's
you know,
right.
that would be my luck. That doesn't surprise me at this point.
Oh my goodness.
It is what it is. Being able to move that around is cool, though. That's fun. I'm glad we figured that out, though.
It is always Larian's fault.
Yeah. If anything, it's because I use the body type 3 characters, and they hate the body type 3 characters. I found out today that apparently they're even missing bones compared to the body type 1.
Raker says because there is no eye effects, the glow is baked. It's not actually visual effects.
Okay, well, okay.
I don't believe boobs can be moved yet, Waffles.
No, there are no boob bones. I think I remember some of the modders saying that they were working on making boob bones or something, but I don't know if anything came of it.
Dang. Okay. Any other questions about this event before we move on to next requested event?
Anything besides boner and titty physics?
I mean, it is this server. I don't know what we expect.
You're right.
Oh my goodness.
We know what kind of culture you've cultivated here. It said Jiffy Jit in the title. I don't know. Mine says Fody Photos.
Mine now says Lightly Lights.
Danny is saying, could we maybe show how to get to the T-pose or get the T-pose in QSAT for Nancy? I don't know if either of you have your game open. If not, I can open mine.
Yeah. I still have mine open. But oh god. Stop casting that spell.
Yes, culture, Tina. Culture. 2 characters T-posing for making a pose. And we're back.
Okay. And we're back. Okay, cool. So pull up QSAT. Actually, I don't think I've actually had to pull up the T-pose before. You should be able to just search it, yeah?
I haven't either. Oh, okay.
You don't need to do that. You just go to Lighty Lights.
Oh, that's right. They added it in.
And the T-pose is up at the top. And now when you open photo mode, it should be in section number 10. In QSAT section 10.
What?
You can change the color of your Lighty Lights in the settings of the MCM menu, Amelia.
Go down to...
That too.
QSAT. And... there we go. And we now have T-pose. Okay. So, is her tail still connected?
Yeah.
Hey, small wins. Okay, so yeah, so you would go to the bone zone, impose T pose, and then that would put it into QSAT.
Yes. You can also, as you were doing, I don't know why I stopped you, but you can also do what you were doing and pull the
Yeah,
T pose via QSAT.
yeah. I
Anything that you anything that you pull via QSAT prior to going in photo mode will save as a default pose.
I wonder why it specifically says night song. That's interesting. Yeah, I personally will tend to pull things directly in QSAT before going in, just because the game hates body type 3 tieflings, and it will ruin their tails if I try to use um the QSAT stuff a lot of the times. Um just disconnect if I try to hit play on anything. So I tend to just search through here. But much more convenient using it through Lighty Light than having to search it like I did. Okay. Was that all of the questions that we had for that? What?
Where did we lose you, Car? Oh, not us. Okay. Okay. Well, if that finishes up our questions, it seems like they've moved on to more lewd comments in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Priorities.
No, you're totally fine. Then
What
I'm gonna call this a win.
method?
And I want to say a big thank you again to Miss Ren, Fishy, and Daniela, both Danielas, for showing up today and helping us out. Appreciate. I know that this was probably the most highly requested event. We will be having others, and I will make sure to post the links for those in the announcement channel along with the Add Everyone's. So, yay.
Yeah. And if there,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if there are any other things that y'all have questions about or like want us to set up events for, like let us know. I've seen people mention that they have issues with unique tab and CAPC. So like I'm happy to help if people need stuff on that. So just let us know.
Yep. We're going to yeah, as far as coordinating Lighty Lights and Reshade, they're two separate mods, or not even mods. They're two separate softwares. Reshade uses filters to adjust lighting and filtering of the image. Lighty Lights directly adjust things in the game.
As for which one you would do first, it kind of depends on your workflow. Most people who are probably smarter than I am start with reshade and then do lighting. I prefer to go lighting first and then reshade. So
Yeah,
it
I
kind of
also do
depends on
lighting
you,
first.
your workload.
I also tend to do lighting
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. I just find it's easier. So, yeah, because that way I find
Daniela.
I have a lot of different reshade presets, so I just kind of go through until I find one that works with my lighting setup.
And I'll
then
adjust my reshade to my lighting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, once I find a setting that I like, then if it's too dark, I'll just brighten up my lights a little bit more, or if it's too bright, I'll dim them a little bit more. But I just find it's easier to set up the lights first. One tip that I like to use, that I don't know that we've brought up, but whenever I'm doing a scene, especially if it's a dark scene, I'll just create a point light, it's not going to stay, but I just make it to brighten up the scene so I can see what I'm doing. I'll set up my scene, and then I'll get rid of that point light and actually do my proper lighting. Then I'll find my reshade that I want to use and then adjust my lighting to work with what I wanted.
That's pretty similar to how my workflow is too. We can also always do like a beginning to end uh
How to set
scene,
up a
like the
picture.
last. Yeah, because that's what I did with a couple of like crash courses for the modding community server. We can start with like QSAT and set up a scene all the way through, just so people have an idea of workflow.
Yeah. As far as future events, feel free to shout those out in the general chat. Events that you would like to see, we are writing everything down, and I am working on getting people who are smarter than me on those softwares and topics to host them for us. So feel free to shout them out or DM them to me if you would like. Yes, we can. I'll host a Blender event, a Bob Ross, how to create a pose from start to finish in Blender. Oh my goodness. And then we can have somebody take that pose and show you how to put it into the toolkit. Oh my goodness. This could be wild. Yeah. Raker, you can do whatever makes your heart happy. We are going to be talking about more of your mods, so without you, though. But yeah, I think I'll call that. I'll end the recording here. And I'm probably going to hop up to one of the open chats, so if anybody wants to talk and chill or has maybe more open questions that they want to talk about, feel free to pop up and do that. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
You guys have a good one.